What is going on, YouTube? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. It's Friday, so it's a Friday night live. I see a lot of wonderful people in the house right now. I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, my energy may be a little different today. It's been a week, and what we're gonna be discussing is just gonna take a little bit of a different type of energy today. I apologize if I come off a little different, but before we get thick of things, I do want to welcome everyone here. We're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna do an unboxing, real quick unboxing. I'm gonna give a shout out to some folks. Let's see who's in the chat right now before we get into anything else. Collector's News by Ronnie G. What's going on? Appreciate your comment. Dan is in the house. La Cruces. All right. Sith, what is going on? Isaac. P. Keel. Rep the Comics. Stefan. Sam Rock. BS or B Swift. Appreciate this. Hyper Combo. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining. Let's see. Actual Dracula. I like that name. Yeah, what's going on, guys? So happy to have you all here. Philly born. All right. So, okay, first off, let me just say, I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone had a good week. It's been a crazy for me, good and the bad, and come out the other side better from it, right? 6 and 6 collectibles. Roman Curtis, what is going on? So today, I'm gonna do a little unboxing with you guys. Just nothing crazy, but it's probably gonna be funny because I think these are books that I've been waiting for over a year. Now, I don't know if that's anyone's specific fault. I got my mail subscription from Marvel, which I turned off the auto renewal, but this one looks like it came in pretty good shape. So we'll open those before we get into the bulk of the discussion today. Before I even do that, I want to give a big shout out to all my patrons, guys. My patrons via patreon.com. We just did our first Patreon contest. Big shout out to Jamie for being the winner of that contest. I got to give a shout out to each and every one of you because, for the last few months, ever since I started up my Patreon, you guys have been supporting me month in and month out, and I truly, truly appreciate it. Comic book canon in the house. Guys, as always, I hope when we're done here, I get to see all of you guys over on the Canon. An awesome show, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's our 40th show, 40th. Man, so that's big. I can't wait till we get to our 50th. We are also having our 500 subscriber contest. We are almost at that 500 mark. So if you guys aren't subscribed to Comic Book Canon yet, that link is below, guys. I can't wait till we have 2 drawings that we're going to give for the 500 subscriber contest. You guys can still enter to win the grand prize if you haven't done so. All you got to do is go find the contest video on the Comic Book Canon channel. Watch it. It's like not even 2 minutes long. See what you need to do. Really easy, and you'll get entered. So, Tom, what's going on, Tom? All right. I got to give a big shout out to all my patrons, guys. I'm just going to name all you off. I know some of you are in the chat already, so big shout out. We got Tyler. I think Tyler is a new patron. So Tyler, I don't think I've had a chance to privately thank you and message you for signing up. So thank you, Tyler. Welcome to the Patreon family for Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. Big shout out to Keith. We got Jeremy W. Sean. We got Michael K. Comic Spunk, Jeff, Tricky Clicky, Philly Born. Seeing him in the chat already. Alvin. One Shot Comics, Frankie's Aquatics, Fletch Comics, Joshua K, Pedro, Hernani, Peter T, Jason, Joe G, Larissa, Sagi, and Dan. I know Dan's in the house right now. We got the big winner, Jamie, Bishner, and Simon. Thank you all so much. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough from the bottom of my heart. Austin and Vicky, what's going on? Recent sub. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate it. Kick, what's going on? Hey, I always say, guys, if you see other content creators in the chat, take the time to sub them up, write their names down, copy and paste, whatever it may be. Hop over to give them a sub, support the community. So, all right, before we get into the big topics of today, guys, I want to open this box with you. I forget what's in here. This is from Midtown. Some of you may know I've been having some issues with Midtown, but I don't think this is necessarily Midtown's fault. These are books that I ordered over a year ago. I do. It's the fault of them being books that Marvel delayed because of the initial shutdown and things getting pushed back. But we're going to look at what's in here. It's only like a couple books. Let's see what we got. Oh, sweet. Yeah. I think these were pushed back. I got my reprints of First Appearance of Morbius, facsimile editions. So I'm so happy to finally have these. So again, funny thing though, I still don't have all my books from Midtown that I ordered a year ago, over a year ago now in February. And I'm waiting to get them all so I can open a PayPal claim for the money that they didn't give me for all my books that were canceled, like $50 worth of books that were canceled. And it's not their fault. I don't think that they were canceled. I don't know. If they were pushed back, I'm assuming they could have like pushed them back like they did these. Like, why did they cancel some and hold some until a new release date? I have no idea. But they canceled about $50 worth of books, and I don't have the money. And they kind of like said something along the lines of, if you open a PayPal claim before you get all your rest of your books, it's going to be a problem. And I'm like, so I'll give you guys an update on that. Let's open this guy here. Let's see. These have came. Did I tell you guys, I had one that was like open. The bag was open and it had gotten wet and it was like ripped to pieces. It was one of my Venom books. But this is my Amazing Spider-Man. But this one, super good condition. There's Amazing Spider-Man 59. This was lagging for a long time, but after reading the last couple issues, I'm starting to get into it again. And I'm like, okay, we're kind of going somewhere. Let's get there. It's just like killing me. So one run I got to give a big shout out to is Peter David's Symbiote Spider-Man King of Black. I've only read only 3 issues are out so far, but man, I'm loving that run, guys. If you're not reading that, I would definitely check it out. And obviously, it's a backstory of when Peter had the symbiote suit, and it ties into King in Black. And that's all I'll say. So if you guys aren't reading it, I highly recommend that you pick up those books or download the digital copies or whatnot. Issue number 4 comes out next week, I believe. So Alvin, there's Alvin, the bearded one. Oilers, what's up, Oilers? Oilers, man. Hey, I haven't gotten to all your voice messages. Oilers and I were in a nice discussion about CG, and then a lot of other stuff happened this week and kind of put a halt on our discussion. Jojo, what's going on, Jojo? So many people here. Comic Noob, so many wonderful people. All right, guys, I think I'm just going to get into it. Let me say before I do, though, one more time, check out all the awesome links below, guys. I just shouted out all the wonderful patrons. If you guys want to get more information on what you will get in terms of perks for being a patron, that link is below for only $3.99 a month. Check out the link to Official Journals Comics merch and, of course, Comic Book Canon, where I'll be headed after this to prepare for our Friday night show. So, all right, guys. We got, close to 50 people right now. So we got a good amount of folks here. Hope to see more of you join. And I'm just going to get into this, though. If you're, if folks join in the middle of it, hopefully they can catch it on the rewind. Collective Chaos was going, but I feel it's very important for me to address a few things today. This goes back to my stream that I did last week. So I'm sure many of you were here last week. I brought in some folks to have a, open, non-biased discussion about the controversy around, this God of Light issue and Micronauts 8. And I'm not going to dive into all those details and whatnot. But I do want to issue basically a public apology on my part. And my apology is because I did not have a key fact before diving into a discussion. And I'm going to explain to you guys why I think it's very important for me to speak on this publicly with all of you. And that's because, in my platform, much of what I do is journalism. It's journalism. I'm here to provide a journalistic standpoint on you know, current events, whether it be current events in the comic book world of what's hot, what's going on in the comic book market. I talk about anything that's related to this hobby, and a lot of it has to do with facts and data. And when you're talking about facts and data, you have to have your facts straight. And I pride myself on being able to do that. I pride myself on being able to be a journalist and speak on things to where I have all the facts on the table, and I can go into a discussion or argument or a debate or a topic or whatever it is, and not fall short or provide misinformation or skew people the wrong way. So much of that is in our culture and in the media these days. And, you know, from my schooling and my background, that is not me and not what I want to do. So tried to mediate a situation last week, which I still think, you know, every last week and the folks that I brought on, you know, much respect to them too. And I told them, like, this is not your fault. This is my fault. I didn't have this one fact before going into it. And that's on me. That's not on anyone else. That's on me. I still feel like the discussion we had last week was very important. I still feel a lot of positive came out of it. But I'm going to tell you guys, for those that are watching, I did not know that the issue with the King of Black 4 God of Light speculation or reveal, whatever you want to talk about it, that related to the Micronauts 8 book, I did not know that that was a leak. All right. I was under the assumption that King of Black 4 was already released to the public. The reason, here's the thing, I knew the King of Black 4 was being released in February, but I get all of my new books through previews orders. I order them 3 months in advance from my comic shop, and then I save on shipping. I get them shipped out to me at the end of each month. So any books that I order that come out in the month of February, they get stacked and put in a box and shipped out at the end of that month. So I'm sitting here thinking that King of Black 4 has already came out, and I just don't have it because I'm waiting for my February books at the end of the month to be shipped out. I was wrong. So I based my standpoint in my conversation last week, comparing them to other examples that were put on the Key Collector app, as if, you know, this was a book that came out, we seen it, and we are speculating evidence that this character, this, or this is what's happening and such, and that's why it relates to this book and that book. That was negligent on my part. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and everyone that I had on my show last week, I had the discussion with them, and I told them straight up, I was completely honest with them. It would have changed the conversation. It would have changed the conversation. Now, the conversation could have still been had, because I still felt that there was a need to build a bridge between between the two parties that were involved, or the multiple parties that were involved. And that was my intent. My intent was not to pick a side and point fingers, but to build a bridge with transparency and consistency. And if you guys watched, that's why I brought up that quote about ethics in business and how we can compete and how we can successfully compete and successfully exist in an industry. And I still stand by that. But I did not provide my viewers with the proper text by not knowing that those panels in that book were a leak. And I told this to all the guys as well, and I'm going to say it to all of you. Me, personally, Journos Comics, Chris, and what I'm doing here with Journos Comics, I will never leak any information of a book that has not been released yet. That's not me. Now, I'm not trying to tell anybody else what they can't do. That's for them, but for me, that is questionable to my own standards and my own ethics. I will never leak anything, whether it's comic books, or even, I would say, film is related, unless it was leaked press, from a substantial source. And I'm going to give you guys an example. On the Comic Book Canon Show, my partner Jeff and I, we have the responsibility to deliver news. And a lot of you know that there's a lot of sites out there. We got this that they will pull stuff out of their behind, and oh, it's been announced that this, and it's BS, clicks, clickbait, and all that stuff. We have to be responsible with the information that we deliver. So if there's any type of rumor or a leak that is involved in film, we make sure that the source can be substantiated to our standard, to where we feel responsible in delivering that news. So I feel like with Journos Comics, it's the same thing. I will never leak information from a book that has not hit the shelves yet. I don't know how stuff gets leaked. I don't know. But that's me on my channel, all right? And I'm going to let that be known. So the thing is, for me, that would have changed the conversation, all right? But I still feel this is what's valid moving forward, everyone, okay? And this is kind of the point that I want to hit home. So I wanted to get that out of the way. That's my apology. That's me being 100% transparent with all of you. I made a mistake, and I have to own up to it, all right? So with that being stated, and I hope everyone is clear on that, I would not support leaks on my channel. Do I still support the conversation of the issue of what was going on? Yes, but the context would have been completely different. So let me break some stuff down for you guys like this. The bigger issue that I see going on here is still burnt bridges and perception. And the funny thing about me this last week, this issue, the God of Light issue, and that live stream, like, even after that, like, so much more controversial stuff happened this week that was all from, for the most part, perception, right? People having a mistaken perception of intent. And I think that goes on in this community way more than it should. All right. And it boils down to us being, one, react, and us being, two, not being able to step outside of our feelings in order to do what I was just talking about. Gather your data, gather your facts, and present an argument. All right. I am not here to make enemies. I am here to build a business and a community at the same time. And I will always be transparent about that. I'm not here to, to play nice for clout with anybody. I am here to welcome everybody in this community. That is such a hard thing to do right now, because people in this community are so divided. Whether it's people that make the content or whether it's people that watch the content and are part of the community. And I always say this on my channel. What do I always say? It's not me. Journalism isn't me. It's all of us. You guys are as much as this as I am. So I may have responsibility here right now talking with you guys. You all have responsibility as well. Okay, so I'm getting to a point. I've had a lot of stuff happen this week. I commented on a post on Instagram. I made a little video on Instagram about it too, because I commented on a post and it was an honest question and it got blown out of proportion. And tons of people got in the comments like, giving me the middle finger, like just shoving it to me. Screw you. Why are you derailing their business and da-da-da-da-da and all this stuff? And I'm like, whoa. So what did I do? I didn't go in the comments and F you, clown, and all this. Like, oh, let's go. I've been there, dude. Y'all don't know who I was 20 years ago, but I'm a grown man. I don't come from a place where people can sit behind a screen and talk and run their mouth. I come from a place to where you see me in traffic and let's handle it. But guess what? That's not me. That's not journos comics. That's not what I'm here for. So what did I do? I reached out to every single one of them privately and said, look, let's have a conversation, because that's not why I'm in here. I had folks that I had mutual respect for, that I feel I've built relationships with, looking at that and me saying, wow, so if this perception is what's being put out there because of a misunderstanding, that's not good. That's not good at all. So I had people recognize that. Honestly, I don't think people expect people to handle things like that. I don't think a lot of people expect people to address situations like that respectfully. I think they expect you to get mad behind a keyboard and play the game. And what is that? See what this turns into? Then perception and intent gets lost to the wayside, and now we're like playing ego behind our screens. What does that do for the community? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I could have easily responded in a reactionary behavior. That doesn't do anything. So now this does relate to last Friday's stream as well. All right. So I hope I handled that situation there, by the way. I think I did. I talked to a lot of folks, and now it's water under the bridge. And I will be taking your guys' comments soon here, but I need to get all this out, all right? So perception and intent. Those are the two words I want to focus on. What is my intent of this channel? I'm going to repeat myself. My intent right here is to build a business. It is that. I will never lie. I know there's people, oh, I'm just here for the hobby. It's never my intent to make money off of YouTube. Well, if you're on YouTube, you want to get views. So, you know, you can't lie about that. But I'm going to tell you guys, this is a full-time job for me. I'm here to make money. I'm here to build my brand. But I also love what I do. Nobody should be in business if they don't love what they do. Right? But then there's also this. I'm a businessman that believes in a particular business culture and business ethics. And I hope that is clear to a lot of you. Now, I know I do a lot of videos where I'm passionate. And I do think that people take my passion the wrong way a lot. My passion is always from good intentions. Always. I just did a video about a CBSI meme that they posted on Instagram. And it was the second first appearances. Still don't know if they were trolling and joking. I still don't. But I responded, and I didn't know. They should have clarified if it was a joke. But I was like, do you guys really believe in this? And I think their response to me was even a joke, but I didn't see it as a joke. I thought they were being real. And I was like, you guys are a database. I feel like being that you have a database, you should be transparent about how you're putting this out there. So that's me being passionate about the hobby and passionate about, you know, properly. If you, with power comes great responsibility. You are a business that houses a first appearance database, and we're talking about first appearances here. And I feel that this narrative isn't. I think it doesn't align with your guys' business model. Yada yada yada. I'm being professional. I'm speaking to what I believe is best for the industry. They deleted my comments. I don't know. They were joking, and they were like, "Oh man, I don't want people to think that we're being serious," but they should have said that. So I made a video on it. But I always say every time I make a video, I have no problem with CBSI. I follow CBSI. I frequent CBSI. I don't even know the people personally from CBSI. I have folks that are affiliated with CBSI. CBSI is great, you know, because they posted a meme and I said, I disagree. And I came in front of that in the beginning of that video and I said, I have no disrespect for CBSI. I respect them 100%, but I disagree. Let's dive into this video. And then at the end of the video, I was playful. I'm like, I don't know if they're joking or not, but if they're being serious, I'm going to take them to court. And then I even said, not literally, not taking any. I had to make that clear, like disclaimer. I'm not taking any. being playful, like I'm going to argue against this. Nope, you're wrong. So it's fun. It's a fun, passionate discussion. But then I get people in the comments saying, why you always do it? You know, you're just salty playing victim. And then I'm like, whoa, like it's not that serious. It's comic books and I love talking about it. So I did go ahead and change the name. I took CBSI's name out of the title. I couldn't change the thumbnail because the thumbnail was actually in the video. But I realized that no matter my intent, there are still people that aren't getting it. So I could sit here and say, you know, Chris, you don't even need to, you don't need, those are like one or two people that just aren't getting it. I'm sure the majority of the people understand your intent. You know, you don't need to change the title. You don't need to take CBSI's name out. But guess what? Sometimes it is my responsibility. It is my responsibility to understand perception rather than my own intent. Does that make sense? Because no matter my intent, perceptions can always be skewed. And I guarantee you they will always be skewed to some folks. Always. So because I care about building this community up, I have no bad blood against CBSI. And it was supposed to be this fun video to make people think and have a deep discussion about the hobby we love. I took their name off of it, off of the title at least, because I'm not trying to burn bridges and make enemies. So there's one example. There's an example I wanted to give to all of you guys. But here's the thing I want to talk about. I got to bring up, you know, you guys know that I talked about Key Collector app in multiple videos. There's videos where I talk in favor of Key Collector app. Those don't get talked about though. The only ones that get talked about are the ones where I'm like, you're wrong, Key Collector, right? I made it very clear that I want nothing but success for everyone, including Key Collector app, but that I disagree with some of the things that they do in their app, like labeling books. And I'm vocal about it. And I always say in the beginning of those videos, I'm not blackballing the Key Collector. Don't, you know, this isn't about conspiracy theories or personal attacks. Here's one specific situation, and I want to talk about it. And I do believe that it comes back to business and business models and ethics and everything. But me talking about that isn't a bad thing, at least my intent. But remember, there's two sides of the coin here. There's intent, and then there's perspective. When I went into that conversation last week, my intent was great, but I didn't have one fact. I didn't have one important fact. So I felt that I did an injustice to both parties involved, including myself. 3 parties involved, because I was supposed to be the neutral party. But even if I had that key element there, I still would have liked to talk about the situation. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's perception surrounding Key Collector right now that is very one-sided in this hobby right now and in this community. I can understand why that perception is there. I may not agree with it all, but I can understand. And I'll tell you, there's these folks, you know, and this is where I'm not on either side of this, but there's folks that will talk about Key Collector and I'll be like, wow, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, okay, well, I can understand why they think this. But there's two things: intent and perspective. Intent and perspective. Now, let me tell you, everyone in this community, for the most part, that isn't Nick or maybe Comic Tom or people that work directly with Key Collector, everything that they are doing is based on their own perspective. This is vice versa for them too. Key Collector can look at what I'm doing and base what I'm doing on his own perspective. Okay. And that's not wrong. It's not wrong. But the one thing that we don't know for sure is intent. Nobody watching this right now, unless you know they're watching it. Nobody watching this right now knows Nick or Key Collector's intent. Just like everyone I had on my channel last week, nobody knows their intent. And that's why I brought them on, because I wanted people to understand their intent. But I wanted people to understand it from both sides. Just like today, I want everyone to understand my intent. Intent, perspective. But let me tell you guys what'll never help us understand intent and perspective. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. This is a two-way street. It's like the yin and the yang. Intent and perspective are tied at the hip. All right? But they can easily be mistaken from either end. All right? So, and then it's a domino effect. It's a domino effect that starts blowing out of proportion. I understand that people look at Key Collector and say, what is their intent? I've done it myself. What is Key Collector's intent with calling Amazing Spider-Man 42 the first full appearance of Mary Jane, when by the benchmark Hulk 180 and Hulk 181, it's still clearly a cameo appearance, just like everyone else in the industry has stated for decades? What is their intent? I don't know what Key Collector's intent is by calling Amazing Spider-Man 42 the first full appearance of Mary Jane. I don't know what their intent is. But I believe it is wrong. Okay? But here's the problem. When I say something like that, a lot of my viewers already assume my intent, Key Collector intent. They assume my intent is to bash Key Collector, and they already assume that Key Collector's intent is malicious. You see how that's a problem? That's a problem. Just because I disagree with something the Key Collector has stated on a book, on their app, so many people perceive what I'm doing to be a green light to pick up the pitchforks and not Key Collector. And then to rally with me as if I'm rallying for their cause. That's not true. I don't know what your cause is. I'm just talking about one thing. And then this is the reaction, guys. I'm going to read some comments. And some of you, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, some of these comments that I read might be people that are in my chat right now. I'm not going to say your names. A lot of these are people that I respect and that probably have followed me and that I follow. And I want you guys to know, if I read your comment and this is you guys, I still respect you. But I want you to put down the ego and put down the walls and try to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Try to open your mind and hear what I'm trying to say. I'm going to read comments that are going to do nothing for anyone in this hobby. All right? The issue at hand is the issue with Key Collector, and that's all I'm going to say. I can understand why people might be questioning this issue. But this is not how you solve it. I don't know what's worse, the BS spewing out of Tom's gay ass mouth or Russ's hair. Let me repeat that. I don't know what's worse, the BS spewing out of Tom's gay ass mouth or Russ's hair. You can land a spaceship on that forehead, bro. These dudes need to be punched in the mouth. How old are we? How old are we? How old are we? Both those dudes are F-tards. F them both. F-tards. I have a special needs son, so I do take offense to the tards. I don't care who you're calling tards. I have a special needs son. Tommy the Clown at it again. I think the Comic Tom posse should get him a razor and some meds to stop moving. I'm pretty sure some of you are in my chat right now, and I love you guys. I'm pretty sure some of the comments that I just read are in the chat right now, and I love you guys. You guys support my channel. But how old are we, guys? Where does this get us? Where does this get us? If you have a valid issue with Key Collector, what does that do? What does that do? Do we really think that this behavior is going to, if we're content creators, whether it's just on IG or it's on YouTube, if we're content creators, do we think that that's going to get us views and subscribers? Or if you're not content creators, do you think that's going to get you in with the in crowd? Just like I will say, yeah, I'm not going to suck up to somebody that has 50K or 100K subscribers just to be in that in crowd. I will never tell any of you to not speak your mind and speak your piece. I will never do that. I don't even care if it's safe. And I've thought about this. I thought, all this stuff that happened this week, I said, I'm done. I'm done. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I reached out to Tom and Nick and told them my intent was righteous, but I apologize for not having a key fact on the table in that discussion. Because I feel the need to, just like I'm telling you all of you right here. But after everything that happened this week, I'm sitting with myself and I'm saying, I'm done. I never want to make a first verse full appearance video. I'm never gonna make a video like I'm not gonna do any of that, dude. It's just like I'll make my top 100 list. I'll show off my comics that I get and be done with it. But then I'm thinking, but I don't want to censor myself. I shouldn't censor myself just because my intent is not getting across to some people. So I don't know. Now I'm in a position where it's like, I don't know what to do moving forward. But here's what I do know. I would never tell any of you to silence your voices. If you feel that you have an issue with anybody in this industry or with anything in life, I want you to speak up. But I want you to do it in a productive way that is not counterproductive. And if you guys look, I'm going to tell you guys right now, Key Collector app and Comic Tom, they're going to be here for a long time. They're going to be here for a long time. If you have a problem with anything regarding them or their business, do you think that that's going to change anything for the positive? Nope. I'll tell you right now, it will do nothing. And I'm going to tell you right now, that type, you may think that acting like this gets a following behind you. You know the saying, bad publicity is better than no publicity. I can't speak for them. I can't speak for Tom or Nick, but if I was them, I'm loving it. I have a troll right now. I have a troll, and I'm not trying to call any of you trolls, but I have somebody that's literally been on all of my videos replying to everybody's comment, like attacking me personally, like saying that I don't live with my kids, pay child support, and I live in a basement, and I can't pay for heating and air, and I don't have a job and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, thanks, Stan, for being obsessed with me. Thanks for getting my algorithms up, my clicks up. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you. I have a lot of respect for people that I just read those comments from, and I could keep going, but I think the few that I read is enough. I have a lot of respect for those guys. But if you're watching, it doesn't do anything. And I also want to say this, and I said this before about Key Collector and Comic Tom when I addressed the conspiracies. You guys may not agree with everything they do. I still don't. I still don't agree with everything the Key Collector lists in the app. This is a business. And I don't know if a lot of you understand the time, the energy, the resources, the money, the sweat, the blood, sweat, and tears that is put into something like this. Look, guys, I have 5,000 subscribers. And it is a full-time job that is draining. I can't imagine having 40,000 subscribers and what that takes. Or I can't imagine having a database that I have to update daily that has thousands and thousands of comic books in it, and algorithms and coding and all that stuff. And now I'm not saying that just because somebody puts hard work into a business, it means that they don't have questionable issues going on. Look, CGC is a successful business, and I with their business model. But my point is this: sometimes businesses do things that we don't agree with. It doesn't mean that there's this conspiracy going on, or that they are horrible human beings. It might just mean that even though their intent is good, the perception is bad. So I ask all of you, because it's both ways. It's both ways. I do believe, and I keep using Key Collector as an example, I do believe it is in Key Collector's best interest to listen to the community. Because even though, we'll say Nick, and Key Collector as a whole, even though his intent may be good, sometimes you need to understand perception. I faced that this week. That's why I changed the name of my CBSI video. I can't sit here and say, well, my intent is pure, so therefore I'm not going to listen to any of you. And I saw some of you saying, oh, don't listen to the haters. Yes, but still, it's my responsibility that no matter my intent, I need to understand how my intent is being perceived. But that goes for you guys as well on the opposite end of that. No matter your intent, you need to understand how your intent is being perceived. It goes both ways. So if we have an issue with Key Collector, nothing's going to get anywhere unless Key Collector and Nick and those folks understand that they have good intent, but they are humble to the way it's being perceived. And you guys aren't going to be heard, even if you have good intent, if you are not conscious of how it's being perceived. So, excuse me, let me get some water. The next thing I say is very important. I don't care. I don't care your intent. I don't care your intent. If you're going in my comments and anyone else's comments on YouTube and Comic Tom's comments, or on your buddies' Instagrams and calling people tards and clowns and gay, I don't care what your intent is, or if your argument is valid in the first place. As soon as you do that, you become worse from that in which you hate. You become worse than that in which you hate. You have no legs to stand on to call out anybody in this community if that's how you act. None. None. And look, here's the funny thing. I was on the flip side of that. Just the last couple of days with my posts on comic book exclusives. I posted, you guys are ripping up comic books. I understand what that does in the secondary market, but how does that benefit you on the primary market? That's crazy. And then I got in a conversation with comic books exclusives, and I was like, okay, I guess you can, create scarcity on the primary market and still maximize profits. Thank you so much. We were hearting each other's comments. And so many people got on that thread and was like, F you, you're out here trying to blackball and trying to freaking run it through the ground and, da-da-da-da-da. My intent at that point didn't matter because there was the perception already being perceived. And if I didn't reach out to every individual privately and say, yo, I don't know you, but let me tell you who I am, that perception could have continued to create a domino effect. I could have gotten upset about that and became defensive and said, screw you. I don't give a about any of you. I'm going to call off. And you know what could have started happening? The whispers. I could have started having haters on Instagram anytime ironically, I did a video about CBSI, like the same day. That was supposed to be fun. And so perception, no matter my intent. Do you know how many thumbs down I got on that video? Probably because of the thing with comic book exclusives who are affiliated in some way to CBSI. Do you know how many thumbs down I got on that and how many people came in my comments hating on me? Perception. If I didn't reach out and say, yo, this is not how it is. This is a misunderstanding. And I would have got, me getting defensive would have just gave them, I would have validated their right to attack me. If I would have got defensive, it would have validated in their eyes their right to attack me, and I would have proved them right. I would have proved them right. And then it's the telephone game. But in this day and age on social media, now, no matter my intent, I'm an asshole. I'm only here to sensationalize videos to get clicks and views. I got that. Go read the comments. Go read the comments. I even got some personal emails from folks, and I won't say who from, saying that you're using this to gain viewership. And I guarantee you that would have spread, and I would have. And then what am I? I'm the next key collector. I'm the next Comic Tom. It's how y'all perceive me. So the message here is this: that circle out of control. And hey, look, I might not have control of it. I may, at some point in time, I might not have control of perception, no matter what I do. So at what point do I put a wall up? And I said this about Nick with Key Collector. Maybe he doesn't want to respond to me because it's not about my intent. It's about perspective. Because he's so used to having people, no matter if their point is valid or not, to childish schoolyard bullying behind a keyboard. It will get us nowhere. If we want to hold Key Collector accountable, some type of standard, you will never do so by doing that. If we want to hold CGC, that's why, I talk about my issue with CGC, and then I get the conspiracy theorists. I'm not a conspiracy theorist on CGC. I just think they need to change their business model because I want them to succeed in the future. Because I'm a businessman. Let me tell you guys one thing too about me, and I'm gonna start looking at comments because I want to get your guys' feedback and see where you guys are at. Let me get some water. I want to make one thing very clear, and I made very clear to folks this last week too. Perception. I want everyone to know I will never come on my channel or on Instagram or anywhere repping me or this brand and do something that I don't believe from this part of my heart and soul. I will never sacrifice the core of my ethics and my moral compass and what I believe in for clicks and views. Never. Never. If I make a video about Key Collector having a label wrong, it's not because I'm using their name for viewership. Wanting to bully heartily believe in what I'm talking about. If I make a video on CGC and issues that I have with CGC, right when I'm in the middle of the juicy stuff, right? I apologize, guys. The bottom line is I will never. Yeah, look, guys. I'm well versed in marketing and advertising, right? So I will absolutely title my videos the best that I can. It's like news headlines. It's just like editorials trying to find the best news headline to sell a news article. Am I gonna make my videos titles as appealing when you're scrolling and you see it and make my thumbnails as appealing as I possibly can? Absolutely. Absolutely, I will. Come on. I'm a business. But it doesn't mean the content that I'm creating will ever go against what I believe in. Ever. Ever. But I will say this. This is my final note before I read some comments. I will say this. It is still my responsibility to understand perception no matter my intent. All right? And I feel that should be the case for everyone, big or small. I think when if we talk about Comic Tom, or a Key Collector, so as a YouTuber and as a business, I think that no matter their intent, they should always be conscious of perception. And then folks like me, or even people that have less subscribers than me, or even people with 200 subscribers, you should always understand, no matter your intent, there's always going to be perception, and you should be conscious of that. And that includes people that aren't even content creators and just want to be a part of this community. And you're leaving comments and you're interacting in this community. You should always be aware of not only your intent, but also your perception, or the perception that is being perceived by others. So, am I going to censor myself and never make any video that might be perceived wrong ever again? Absolutely not. Hell no. But is it my responsibility to, one, have all the facts on the table before I talk about anything and do the best that I can as a responsible journalist, and also at least be humble and empathetic to understand how it might be perceived? Absolutely, 100%. So, with that being said, I want to get to your guys' comments. I appreciate you all being here. I have to say today, because like I said, I mean, I'm not sitting here just talking about fun and happy comic book stuff. This is important stuff to me though, and I'm very glad that all you guys are here. So if anybody has any comments that they want to address to me right now, or any questions, I'm looking at the chat. Big shout out to Pressable Defects being here today. Lisa, what's going on? Mr. Mitchell, ABZ. I hope everyone is being respectful in the comments as well. And I know this is a deep issue. Steve, what's going on? Bing. Thank you, man. You know, I know it's tough if you guys are like in your own discussions in the chat. It's tough to get everything out on tight words. Yeah, that goes to show intent and perception. It's even harder in tight words these days. So we got to be humble to that. And when we're not, here's the thing, when we're not true, if we are questioning somebody's intent, before we react, we got to make sure that we're perceiving their intent 100%. And it takes a lot of humility within us and a lot of patience within us to do that, to be the bigger person. I just see some normal comic talk happening in the chat too, so that's awesome. Collector P, I appreciate you. I want to make it clear, Collector P, you do say that you're not the only one that feels that Key Collector is a problem. Again, perception. I'm gonna tell you how I perceive that. And I'm an English buff, guys. I teach English and language. Me reading that, Collector P, when you say you're not the only one that thinks Key Collector is a problem, you're generalizing Key Collector being a problem. I don't think Key Collector is a problem. Key Collector is essential to this hobby and what it is. That's not a problem. That's a good thing. That's a benefit. Do I feel some of the things that are on the app are problematic in my personal opinion? Sure. But I don't think it's a problem. So see, we have to be extremely careful with our dialogue in our language, intent, perception. Mr. Mitchell says incorrect spec is a problem. Hey, look. Let's take that and not take that out of context. Incorrect spec is a problem. Absolutely. So if anybody is responsible for incorrect spec, how do you solve that? Do you go on Instagram and make a video calling people, F-tards and gay and clowns? Does that solve that? No, absolutely not. That's my point. Yeah, errors and claims. Look, but again. Yeah. So Joe says, he loves the different tools, but sometimes he sees errors in claims and you have to dig deeper. Again, though, does something like that equate to having us react by creating conspiracy theories and calling people names? Philly born, Roman Curtis. Let's see. I know 3 guys who come on every other Wednesday and do their spec without any app. In fact, they actually do work and find the books to pass on to the community for free. Just saying. That's awesome. That's awesome. There's a lot of that out there right now, you know, and that's why, you know, again, we could go back to the chat, you know, that I tried to mediate last week, man. I want everyone to feel like their voices are being heard. And that if there's a problem, that we can mediate a problem in the right way. Unfortunately, I did nobody justice by missing a key fact. I'll keep going back to that. It does nobody justice when you try to mediate a problem and you don't have a key fact on the table. And that's on me. I keep saying it. That's on me. Tough book. What's going on? We all spec to a point. I bought books because of FOMO, but not as much anymore. I just collect what I like. Comic books are similar to the stock market, ups and downs. Just a fun thing to talk about. Absolutely. Scott, what's going on? Scott says, does Overstreet follow Comic Tom's and Key Collector's thinking with some of these first appearances? Honestly, I don't know. But here's the thing. And I've said, look, when I made videos, like if I made the video about Key Collector having a disagreeing with them calling Amazing Spider-Man 135 the third appearance of Punisher, and calling 134 the second appearance without adding proper context of cameos and fulls, I said they're not the only ones that I believe are wrong and don't have proper context. CGC labels Amazing Spider-Man 1 second appearance of Punisher. In my opinion, that's wrong too. Context is needed. It should say second full appearance of Punisher. That's what it should say on a CGC and CBCS label. And I've said this too. You know, it's funny because everyone thinks I'm so anti-Key Collector. But I've said this in my videos when I've addressed in my concerns. There will always be room for anyone, whether it's Key Collector or Go Collect or Cover Price or Overstreet or Comic Book Realm or CGC or CBCS. There's going to always be room for error until we have a concrete, written in stone standard established. And that's not Key Collector's fault. That's not CGC's fault. That's not Go Collect's fault or Overstreet's fault. It's nobody's fault. Do I still feel that there's enough evidence of precedent to where some of the stuff is still questionable? Absolutely. But there needs to be that's why I advocate for a industry standard. A structured industry standard. There needs to be one. We need to get together, people. I'm telling you, we all, instead of, and this is why I'm saying, like every time if I bring up Key Collector, I bring up CGC, it's not to bring them down. It's to sit at the round table. But if you sit and you call somebody names, they're never going to listen to you. They're never going to listen to you. They are going to write you off. They are absolutely going to write you off and say, I ain't even paying any attention to this fool. Calling me names. Thank you for the bad publicity. Bad publicity is better than none. I speak on these things because I want to sit at the round table. I believe all of us have the power to get to a point to where we say, let's create an industry standard for these things that don't exist today. And then we all can be held accountable. Jason King, I just wish the comic book publishers would just make the clarifications on appearances. Hey, it's a good argument. You would think that they have the power, but even comic book publishers can get it wrong, guys. Even they can get it wrong. And they have. So that's why it can't just be on the comic book publishers. It has to be according to a strict, structured definition. It has to be. It has to be. Thoro, thank you for being here today. I didn't get a chance to see what else we got. I love how we are just so focused on the first appearance stuff now after all that. Start the standard. Brett says start the standard. Let me tell you guys. Let me tell you. This would ultimately lead to more controversy, though. I've really thought about starting a catalog. Because what I would like, this is what I would like to do, guys. Honestly, and I've been and I've said this, it would probably take years. I want to start a catalog to where I can get all the first appearances together, all the cameos, the first, the fulls, the seconds, in Marvel and DC and all these things, at least from like the Silver Age to current, right? And notate all the errors. Okay, if Key Collector says this is this, but then Marvel says this is this, and then Overstreet says this is this, and then I would put them all up in how they relate. Where's the differences? Where the conflicting labels? Where are those at? And put it all together and get it all outlined to say these are where things conflict. These are where things align. How do we spread this out in a line, get everything aligned? And then from there, we can start reworking the inconsistencies and moving forward. I would love to do something like that and bring it to everyone that has a seat at the table. Key Collector, Go Collect, Overstreet, Cover Price, CGC, CBCS, PGX, EGS, comic book YouTubers that have a platform in this industry, in this hobby. I would love to do that. I've been thinking about it more and more lately, but boy, would that be like years of work. I'm telling you guys, because it takes days and days of work just to make a video talking about what really is the Punisher's second appearance. I'm like, so it's crazy. It is crazy, man. I really, again, I'm open to hearing anybody's thoughts in terms of what I was talking about. Look, perception versus intent. You know, I really hope, really hope that my message did not fall on deaf ears today, guys. I really hope it was clear. I know it was a lot, but I try to be as clear as possible in terms of presenting what I was presenting today. I even took notes to try to follow them along, but you know, the biggest thing for me, guys, I think moving forward really is let's not be counterproductive. There's no bad guys and good guys here. I'm telling you. Like, look, unless somebody's, I mean, look, we can't go into something believing there's bad guys and good guys. Let me just say it like that. There's intent and perception, and that's what it circles back around to. And we got to be productive. We can't be counterproductive, guys. We got to be proactive. We can't be so reactionary. We can't be counterproductive, and we can't sensationalize things to where we hype people up off of falsehoods and things that aren't fully in context. We can't do it. I would hate to perceive something wrong, the intent of somebody wrong that's built the business, right? And I would hate to perceive what they did wrong and not have all the facts on the table and do something, even though my intent is good. But my good intentions lead to hurting their business and their livelihood. Can you imagine? Can you imagine somebody working years to build a business and to earn an income and feed their family, to pay the bills, to have a house over their heads and to feed their kids? And because I or we perceived something wrong, our good intentions got in the way of them being able to feed their family. Can you imagine that? I want you to imagine that next time you think you have all the facts and you go on Instagram, and that courage juice, that keyboard courage juice gets in your blood, and you're watching a video on Instagram and you're like, man, this has to be how it is. This has to be the case. And then you start commenting gay ass, fraud, and all this stuff. And then you come on a channel where you got 5,000 subscribers. And Marvel's watching. Or an artist is watching. Or somebody's watching. And because of your good intentions, and because of you handling it in a counterproductive way, it goes back and hurts somebody that is just trying to feed their family. Think about that. For that last Friday from all parties involved, including my own. I set myself up for failure with not having all the facts. And I know some of the guys that I had on were in here, might be in here. And like I said, I would have still brought them on. We would have still had a productive conversation if I had all the facts. And that's my fault. I'll repeat, it's my fault. It's nobody else's fault that I didn't have all the facts. Nobody else's fault. And I had to apologize to them. But I would have still brought them on. But because I was missing one fact, my good intentions could have hurt a lot of people. So we got to remember that, guys. And that's the message that I need to get across to everyone today. We got to be better human beings. We can stand up. Look, I'm gonna Joe G. Hold on, Joe. Joe. Much love, Joe. I appreciate you so much. 2021 is the year where we lift each other and spread the love. There is no justified resentments. It's all about love. Please, guys, this right here. Listen to Joe. And like I said, love isn't turning your back on stuff that you're passionate about and not talking about things. It's not. Don't get it twisted. It's not that. But it's being responsible in your power and in your voice. And I'm going to bring a political example. And I don't want to offend anyone. And I'm not going to lean on one side or the other. But I have to use this as an example, okay? Look, we know that the last 4 years with Trump as our president, it really divided a lot of people. I don't abide to party politics. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. But Trump behaved in a way that a lot of people didn't like. And I'm going to come out and say it. Regardless of his political policies, there was a lot of things that Trump did that, according to my morals and my ethics, I didn't agree with. I thought that there was a lot of immature bullying going on that no adult should act like. And I think a lot of people saw that, and it was perpetuated and made them act the same way, thinking it's, look, a president can act like this. But let me tell you something. You know what I saw? When Donald Trump acted and did something that I didn't agree with, I didn't stoop to a level, but you know what I saw? I saw people coming out saying, "Oh, the orange man," or there was so much disgusting attacks in the name of standing up against bullies. You're going to claim that Donald Trump's rhetoric is that of a bully, but you're going to come out and act just like you're saying he's acting. That does nothing. You become that in which you hate. You're going to come on Facebook and call this guy Orange Man, little hand Orange Man, when you're trying to make a point saying that he's bullying people. You're not making any point at all because you're doing the same thing. So again, what I'm trying to say is this. Even if you have just cause to disagree with something, or you think that what somebody's doing is not right, you have to be the bigger person. Get your facts straight. Get all your stuff in front of you on the table before you even put your argument out there, and proceed as the bigger man or woman. Swaggle, what's going on? Be swiftly the political stuff alone. I just had to use that as an example. And like I said, that political example is not to, I'm not here siding with anybody that, you know, is Republican or Democrat or was in support of Trump or didn't support Trump. I'm just saying, if you don't like what somebody's doing, don't act just like them or worse to make your point, because then you have no point. Yes, Swaggle says we need to behave like Captain America. And that's why I love Captain America. Because that's why he's one of my favorites. Because absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, guys. We got a few more minutes. I'm gonna let you guys get some last comments in. Whew, man, you know, I really appreciate you all for being here today. Thank you so much, Joe, for the super chat and continuing to support this channel in so many ways, man. I really, you give me strength and, you know, just that drive to keep doing this. But all of you that were here today, I mean, if you guys, I really hope you know me by now and know what my intent is with this channel. And for you all to be here today and have to listen to me talk about what I talked about today, it means a lot to me. It really does. It really does. And I hope that a lot of people understand who I am more moving forward and have a better understanding of my intent. I know I talk about things that could be perceived as controversial, but it's always with good intent. It's always to better this hobby. And it's always because I want to question themselves and better themselves as well, whether it's a business or a comic book entity or what. So, Brick Hunter, Batman for Prez. I don't know about Batman for president, man. That dude, he'd have a yeah. That dude is man, he'll have like a way to like push a button to make us all extinct if he felt like we'd go bad. All right, Mr. Mitchell, appreciate it, man. Jason E, truly appreciate the feedback. Swaggle says, let's talk about something non-controversial like Marvel comic cards. Yeah, right. Like that. Oh my gosh. Woo. Dan says if Thanos ran for president, he'd be guaranteed 50% of the vote. Oh man, talk about divide. Steve Rogers, Chris Rose. Yeah, man, Steve Rogers for president all day long. All day long. Yeah, big shout out to Swagboss, man. That comic card video was done justly, man, and you got a lot of folks checking that out, and the way you broke that down, that was so on point. Comic book human, never let a lesser person get the best of you. I agree, but I wouldn't want to call anyone a lesser person. I think that's kind of negative. You know, maybe we could say never let a person acting lesser get the better of you, maybe. I'm all for like, even when people act like lesser beings, I'm always for trying to be the bigger person and still like praying for them and giving them the benefit of the doubt, hoping that they can learn from their shortcomings, right? Let's all go to Mexico right now. Yeah, let's go to Cancun, man. Shoot. All right, all right. ABZ, what people actually collect comic trading cards. I still have all of mine. All right, guys, before I get out of here we go again. Please, all the links are below. Again, if you want to help the channel out for only $3.99 a month, free one comic book every month, that link is below to my patreon.com. We just did the first patron contest. I will be constantly having patron contests. I haven't announced the next one or what the prizes are going to be, but I do have some stuff picked. And of course, we are just 35 minutes away from our comic book canon show. So, guys, I really hope to see all of you over there. Link is below. And of course, you guys support the channel. You can support the channel and get some fresh gear by checking out the Journos Comics official merch. Check all the awesome other links and affiliates below, guys. Everyone that I support in the community. Well, not everyone. I mean, I could have so many more links, but A1 Comics, man, they're having their big sale right now if you guys are in the Northern California area. And remember, 50% off of DC Super Titles. If you mention that I sent you, when you go there, you get an extra 5% off. That's running until the end of February. Check that out. I always rep EGS. They're making their way in the grading industry. Check them out below. State of Comics, another awesome comic book shop coming out of Michigan that also has a great online shop, and to all my fellow content creators that I have links to below. Please, guys, sub everyone up, support the community. Again, I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you know, like, I put my heart into this, even with these live show. I'm telling you, I've been talking for over an hour. I'm exhausted. It took a lot out of me, and I'm just thankful to have all of you here with me today to be able to talk about something that's really important to me. So let's keep working to build this community up, guys. Really. And that's no matter how big or small we are, no matter if you're a business or an individual, we got to do better. We got to be proactive instead of counterproductive. I have faith in each and every one of you. So with that being said, Jason King, Lisa Bearded, appreciate all you guys. I really hope to see all of you over on the Canon in 33 minutes and counting. All right? Be well, guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. And until next time.